Sumerian tablets are probably one of the oldest form of written record that we have. They've been translated, and they tell exciting stories about how gods intermingled with human beings and actually had a hand in the creation of human beings.
A 5,000-year-old clay disc pulled from a burning ancient library has suddenly triggered absolute panic across the internet. Viral reports claim that an advanced artificial intelligence has finally unlocked forbidden cuneiform codes etched into this Sumerian star map, exposing a terrifying cyclical doomsday trajectory aimed directly at our world. According to these alarming countdowns, a catastrophic cosmic threat is silently hurtling toward us, scheduled to strike within the next 7 months. Is this the ultimate scientific breakthrough revealing an ancient warning, or a masterfully engineered digital hoax? The disturbing reality behind this countdown changes everything you know. The real Sumerian star map. Imagine pulling a 150-year-old mystery straight from the smoldering ashes of a fallen empire. Deep in the desolate ruins of the ancient citadel of Nineveh, located within modern-day Iraq, a single artifact emerged from the dirt that would fundamentally shatter our understanding of ancient human science. During the mid-19th century, pioneering British archaeologist Austen Henry Layard was digging through this forgotten terrain when he unearthed something completely unprecedented. He pulled a miniature clay disc from the rubble that challenged every established timeline of ancient astronomy. If you traveled to London and walk into room 55 of the British Museum right now, you can observe this exact item sitting quietly on display, officially catalogued as K8538. This incredibly modest artifact measures roughly 14.1 centimeters in diameter and 3.2 centimeters in thickness. The creators meticulously divided its circular surface into 8 distinct geometric triangular segments. Each individual section functions as a highly localized star chart, intricately carved with detailed constellations, complex geometric coordinate lines, and highly abbreviated cuneiform descriptors. But there is a glaring physical reality that you must confront when examining this ancient disk. Roughly 40% of its original mass is physically missing. Can you imagine the immense level of catastrophic violence required to inflict that kind of damage? During the violent sacking and total destruction of Nineveh in late antiquity, the famous library of Ashurbanipal burned to the ground. The extreme heat of those historic fires accidentally vitrified large portions of the clay, blasting it and completely fusing its fractured surfaces into a smooth, glass-like state. This intense inferno ultimately left the reverse side of the tablet entirely blank and completely uninscribed. Epigraphical and astronomical analyses provide a remarkably precise timeline for this surviving physical copy. Researchers have proven its creation occurred during the Neo-Assyrian period, with the coordinates specifically matching the visible night sky over Nineveh on the exact night of January 3rd to the 4th, 650 BCE. Yet, the true lineage of this artifact extends far deeper into the past. Archaeoastronomical consensus indicates that this specific disk is actually a direct copy of a much older, long-lost Sumerian original astronomical notebook. The conservative traditions of Mesopotamian scribes ensured that these vital celestial records from the 3rd millennium BCE were meticulously copied and preserved over thousands of years. This complex copying lineage contributed heavily to a deep academic mystery that lasted for more than a century and a half. When early pioneers of Assyriology first attempted to decipher this planisphere, they hit an absolute intellectual brick wall. By the time L. W. King tried a translation in 1912, followed by Ernst Weidner in 1915, the artifact had already thoroughly baffled the scientific community. The complex cuneiform notations and highly stylized star drawings resisted standard interpretation. Widener famously rejected the term planisphere altogether because the geometric coordinates and scribal shorthand did not align with conventional mapping techniques. Because these early academics could not translate the non-standard geometric measurements, they frequently dismissed the tablet entirely. Rather than recognizing it as a piece of genuine observational science, many esteemed scholars simply wrote it off as an enigmatic magical artifact or a primitive tool of ancient witchcraft. These esteemed academics struggled to accept that an early civilization possessed such a highly sophisticated and systematic method for mapping the cosmos. That small piece of shattered clay ultimately defied all of their expectations, leaving behind a formidable legacy that continues to captivate modern archaeological research efforts today. The controversial 3123 BCE asteroid strike. You would naturally assume the profound academic silence surrounding this shattered clay artifact would last forever, burying its ancient secrets. But in 2008, that established consensus was violently ripped apart. Two British aerospace engineers, Alan Bond and Mark Hempsel, viewed the ancient tablet not as historians, but as experts in rocket trajectory analysis. They shattered the quiet academic landscape by publishing their highly controversial monograph, A Sumerian Observation of the Koful's Impact Event. They claimed to have successfully decoded the complex geometric lines and shorthand notations baffling scholars for over a century. Think about that for a second. Two modern aerospace engineers stepped into the ancient world to assert that the tablet recorded the precise, terrifying flight path of an incoming hypervelocity space object. To prove their theory, Bond and Hempsel utilized specialized astronomical simulation software designed to correct for the long-term precessional wobble of the Earth. They rewound the planetary mechanics, dialing the ancient night sky back to the early pre-dawn hours of June 29th, 3123 BCE on the Julian calendar. According to their analysis, half of the circular planisphere is not just a standard agricultural map charting routine planet positions. Instead, they argued it is a terrifying eyewitness log kept by a panicked Sumerian astronomer. This ancient observer was documenting a massive, bright object moving rapidly across the sky. The engineers identified this cosmic intruder as an Aten-class asteroid, a specific population of near-Earth objects with orbits resonant with our own path, estimating its physical diameter to exceed 1 kilometer. The terrifying narrative etched into the clay gets even more specific. The aerospace engineers calculated that the decoded trajectory points directly to a terrestrial impact site hidden deep in the Austrian Alps. They proposed that this asteroid entered the atmosphere at a shallow angle of only 6 degrees. Imagine a massive, unyielding object aggressively skipping across the upper Earth atmosphere, violently clipping the peak of Gamskogel Mountain, located right above the town of Langenfeld. This unprecedented high-velocity mountain strike allegedly caused the giant asteroid to catastrophically explode before even hitting its final terrestrial destination. It instantly detonated into a massive 5-kilometer-wide atmospheric fireball, unleashing unimaginable destructive kinetic energy over the nearby village of Kofels, Austria. The regional devastation from this massive airburst would be absolute, but the unrelenting cosmic horror supposedly did not end in the Austrian Alps. The engineers argued the resulting superheated backplume, essentially a massive atmospheric mushroom cloud of vaporized rock, would dynamically bend right over the Mediterranean Sea. This hyperheated material then allegedly re-entered the lower atmosphere, spreading a massive thermal blanket over the Levant, Sinai, and northern Egypt. Bond and Hempsel dramatically suggested that this raining cosmic fire ignited catastrophic regional infernos, directly inspiring the famous biblical destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. It completely transformed the ancient artifact into a harrowing doomsday record, actively capturing the oldest witnessed cosmic disaster in human history. Yet, this apocalyptic asteroid model is not the only catastrophic interpretation out there. To show how deeply these fringe theories diverge, researchers Joachim Seifert and Frank Lemke published a separate alternative translation in 2014. They discarded the Austrian asteroid strike entirely. They confidently claimed the tablet recorded a spectacular, large comet impact on September 22, 2193 BCE. They argued this comet struck the marshlands of southern Iraq, creating the disputed Albini impact structure and initiating a 300-year global cooling event that collapsed the entire Akkadian Empire. Koffel's landslide versus cosmic impact. Think about that for a second. An ancient record of a devastating asteroid wiping out an entire mountain range. It sounds like the ultimate archaeological discovery. But what does the Earth actually say when we examine the dirt? We must tear directly into the geological battleground of the Ottstal Valley, located within Tyrol, Austria. This specific site serves as the absolute geographical anchor for the entire asteroid theory. Because geologists have never found an actual impact crater anywhere near Kofels, Bond and Hempsel had to creatively explain this missing feature to support their terrifying hypothesis. They claimed the incredibly shallow entry angle caused the asteroid to explode as a massive 5-kilometer atmospheric airburst. In their specific model, the immense crushing pressures of this fireball pulverized the mountain and triggered the massive landslide, acting as a completely craterless cosmic strike. As physical proof, they pointed to unique, highly vesicular pumice-like fused rocks found directly at the landslide site. Locals call this glassy silicate formation Kofelsite. The aerospace engineers confidently argued these scattered rocks were impactites, instantly fused by the intense heat of the asteroid fireball. Modern geologists universally reject this cosmic impact theory based on extensive physical field evidence. They bring the absolute hammer down using rigorous seismic reflection surveys, extensive drill core analysis, and detailed field mapping. The true story of Kofels is actually a massive Sturzsturm, which is a seismically triggered rapid rock avalanche. The brutal physics of this natural terrestrial event are staggering to comprehend. Imagine an unbelievable 3 cubic kilometers of solid metamorphic rock masses violently detaching and sliding rapidly down a steep 676-meter vertical drop. Calculations prove that this sudden rapid displacement released approximately 5 times 10 to the 16th power joules of raw kinetic energy. To put that massive destructive force into perspective, that is roughly equivalent to a 4.5 megaton TNT explosion. This immense kinetic energy generated horrifying temperatures of over 1,700 degrees Celsius directly on the basal sliding planes. That incredible heat literally melted the host Augen gneiss rock right into glassy Kofelsit. This material is a rock melted purely by intense geological friction, not an asteroid strike from the heavens. Furthermore, stratigraphically, researchers find this melted rock exclusively underneath the landslide debris along the basal shear zones. If a cosmic impact occurred, it would have deposited a vast symmetrical ejecta blanket right on top of the landslide. The geographic distribution of the debris is highly asymmetric, heavily reflecting a natural mountain collapse. The absolute kill shot to this entire asteroid strike hypothesis comes directly from the chronological dating. The hard chronological evidence presents an insurmountable obstacle that the fringe doomsday theory simply cannot bypass or explain away. Dedicated researchers dug exploratory tunnels deep beneath the massive landslide debris and successfully recovered crushed wood fragments securely trapped during the initial mountain collapse. Radiocarbon dating of these specific trapped wood fragments yields a conventional age of approximately 8,000 BCE. advanced fission track analyses and cosmogenic isotope surface exposure dating on the landslide boulders, specifically utilizing chlorine-36 and beryllium-10, independently corroborate this early Holocene timeline. These multiple, highly rigorous independent dating methods definitively prove that the massive Kofos landslide actually occurred roughly 5,000 years before the alleged Sumerian astronomer ever supposedly recorded the asteroid in 3123 BCE. The Austrian mountains simply fell on their own accord, completely unbothered by anything from outer space, leaving the terrifying doomsday theory completely and utterly without a factual geographical foundation. The AI phenomenal Grok and the modern viral revival. We must now boldly fast forward to the mid-2020s, where a completely and thoroughly debunked 2008 engineering hypothesis violently mutated into a truly unstoppable digital contagion. Across TikTok and YouTube, a massive tidal wave of highly viral videos suddenly flooded our feeds with an utterly terrifying premise. These platforms falsely claimed that modern generative artificial intelligence models, specifically xAI's Grok, had recently decoded chilling new warnings, hidden prophecies, and precise apocalypse coordinates right from the cuneiform surfaces of K 8538. By simply attributing this supposed decoding to an advanced, cutting-edge AI system, massive networks of content creators effortlessly bypassed the natural skepticism of their vast audience. They successfully draped an artificial air of modern scientific breakthrough over an old, entirely discredited fringe theory. The actual lore manufactured by these massive digital channels is completely and entirely fabricated from the ground up. The most popular viral videos forcefully claim that the AI uncovered a deeply structured ancient cosmology describing 7 inhabited worlds, or distinct regions explicitly encoded within the broken symbols of the tablet. In this fictional narrative, Earth is ominously placed as the final, absolute lowest level of cosmic existence. Other rampant variations of this hoax deliberately integrate popular alternative history myths into the ancient star map. They boldly assert that Grok discovered absolute, undeniable proof of the genetic manipulation of early humans by the Anunnaki. These are entirely fringe narratives originally popularized by author Zecharia Sitchin decades ago, bearing absolutely no relation to any real archaeological text ever found in the sands of ancient Mesopotamia. We need to violently contrast this fake AI internet lore with the actual reality of how real computational archaeology works in the field today. In the genuine scientific community, there has been absolutely zero AI involvement in rewriting or translating K 8538. While legitimate archaeologists absolutely utilize artificial intelligence, its professional applications are strictly operational and highly tedious. Hardworking researchers deploy complex machine learning algorithms to painstakingly piece together thousands of physically broken three-dimensional clay fragments scattered across museum archives. They use advanced neural networks to translate incredibly standard, highly repetitive Akkadian administrative records, such as ancient grain receipts or basic sheep inventories. Actual artificial intelligence is used to restore physically damaged cuneiform symbols on mundane tax documents, not to hallucinate dramatic alternative histories or randomly generate terrifying doomsday prophecies. The rapid, terrifying spread of this modern internet hoax relies entirely on a highly deceptive concept known as synthetic credibility. We are witnessing an endless barrage of low-effort content farms completely hijacking the historical narrative. These faceless channels deploy highly sophisticated AI-generated voice clone software, perfectly mimicking the authoritative tone of real scientific narrators. They pair these hyper-realistic synthetic voices with dramatic, sweeping soundtracks and completely generated hyper-realistic imagery to present these fabricated doomsday claims as if they were legitimate, peer-reviewed scientific discoveries. This highly engineered combination of audio and visual manipulation creates an incredibly convincing illusion of absolute truth. It completely short-circuits the critical thinking process of the average viewer, allowing blatant historical fabrications to masquerade as groundbreaking archaeological science. These algorithms deliberately prioritize high watch times and rapid shares, metrics that are heavily driven by manufactured panic, misplaced outrage, and sheer existential fear. Millions of people are successfully tricked into believing a thoroughly debunked asteroid theory simply because a convincing digital voice confidently declared that an advanced language model finally unlocked the ultimate forbidden secret of the ancient Sumerians and changed our understanding of the universe forever without any proof. The next 7 months catastrophe. Think about that for a second. The most alarmist claim currently terrorizing the entire internet is a terrifying doomsday countdown, stating that an impending global catastrophe is scheduled to hit Earth in exactly 7 months. To deliberately maximize public fear, this highly coordinated online narrative frequently ties this impending collision to the thoroughly debunked mythical rogue planet known as Nibiru. According to these internet legends, Nibiru is supposedly traveling on a highly elliptical orbit, aggressively threatening to smash into our world. However, physical astronomers have repeatedly and comprehensively proven that this specific construct is completely impossible. If such a massive rogue planet actually existed within our local celestial neighborhood, its immense mass would instantly and catastrophically destabilize the entire gravitational balance of our entire solar system. These online grifters are incredibly manipulative and highly deceptive. They strategically took the thoroughly debunked 2008 aerospace engineering theory about the ancient 3123 BCE asteroid strike and completely weaponized it for modern audiences. Instead of presenting the ancient impactor as a singular, isolated historical event, they completely twisted the core narrative. They boldly claimed that the ancient Sumerian object was actually just the first part of a massive, returning cyclical orbital stream that is currently hurtling right back toward Earth to finish the job. So, where did this highly specific 7-month countdown actually come from? We must expertly trace this massive, widespread lie directly back to its exact, bizarre, and entirely terrestrial origin. In April 2024, the NASA Planetary Defense Coordination Office, working alongside FEMA and multiple international space agencies, conducted their 5th biennial Planetary Defense Interagency Tabletop Exercise. This vital event is officially known in the scientific community as PDTTX-5. This was not a real-world emergency or an actual threat. It was a 100% hypothetical, highly controlled emergency training simulation designed to strictly test government readiness. During this specific tabletop exercise, government scientists systematically simulated a mock threat involving a completely fake, non-existent asteroid officially designated as 2023 TTX. In the strict parameters of their controlled simulation, this hypothetical space rock had a calculated 72% chance of eventually hitting the Earth in exactly 14 years. They literally scheduled the fake impact date for July 12, 2038. But the scientists running the simulation needed to make the entire exercise significantly more challenging for the participants involved. To do this, they intelligently programmed a highly realistic astronomical complication into the scenario. They definitively decided that the fake asteroid would temporarily pass directly behind the Sun from our terrestrial vantage point. Because of this orbital alignment, the simulation dictated that absolutely no new ground observations would be possible for exactly 7 months. That is the absolute smoking gun. Unscrupulous internet grifters deliberately stripped this highly specific 7-month tracking blackout detail directly out of a publicly available hypothetical NASA training PDF. They completely erased the true context of the training exercise, maliciously stitched that 7-month countdown directly to the fake AI-translated Sumerian star map, and relentlessly weaponized the resulting panic. Because social media algorithms automatically prioritize high watch times and rapid shares, these entirely manufactured ticking clock scenarios serve as the ultimate algorithm bait. They maliciously push pure, unfiltered terror to millions of unsuspecting users simply to generate massive, unearned ad revenue from a catastrophe that literally does not exist at all today. You are watching a completely fabricated modern disaster unfold in real time. It is an absolutely shameful deception. Truly awful human behavior indeed. Astronomical anomalies. Let us carefully strip away the modern science fiction and deeply examine the actual, mind-bending reality of ancient Mesopotamian astronomy. You have to actively wonder what these brilliant ancient scholars were truly dedicating their entire lives to observing, if they were not tracking a terrifying cosmic doomsday. When formally evaluated under the rigorous academic frameworks of mainstream archaeoastronomy, Planisphere K 8538 emerges not as a frantic record of planetary destruction, but as a genuinely advanced, highly systematic map of the sprawling night sky and its associated pantheon of celestial deities. This seemingly simple clay disk functioned primarily as a highly sophisticated agricultural and complex ritual calendar. The physical survival of the entire Mesopotamian Empire depended entirely upon it. By meticulously mapping the precise heliacal risings and temporary settings of primary star groups, dedicated Mesopotamian astronomers could accurately track the constantly shifting seasons and consistently predict critical weather changes with astonishing scientific accuracy. This incredibly vital astronomical data fundamentally allowed the central state to strategically plan their massive crop sowing operations, properly coordinate massive harvest schedules across vast territories, and, most importantly, physically prepare for the immense, seasonal, life or death flooding of the mighty Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The specific geometric lines and coordinates that the aerospace engineers aggressively interpreted as literal kinetic equations for an incoming asteroid are actually completely standard celestial omens and well-documented planetary paths. For instance, what the engineers incorrectly identified as a continuous, deadly trajectory is simply a traditional artistic representation of Mul Apin, the triangulum constellation widely recognized by the ancient scribes as a celestial plow. The tablet simply maps its perfectly standard orbital path relative to the prominent star clusters of the Pleiades and Orion. These specific drawings represent deeply traditional astronomical observations, formally codified within the massive omen series historically known as Enuma Anu Enlil. Ancient royal scribes specifically utilized these complex astrological omens to strictly interpret the divine will of the gods for the ruling king, actively utilizing cyclical celestial movements for mundane statecraft rather than frantically calculating hypervelocity impact vectors. The sheer intellectual weight of this surviving artifact is absolutely staggering. The tablet definitively demonstrates that ancient Mesopotamians deeply understood highly advanced celestial mechanics and highly complex mathematics millennia before the classical Greeks even entered the historical picture. They brilliantly divided the circular sky using a highly precise sexagesimal or base 60 coordinate system. Think about that immense mathematical legacy for a second. That is the exact mathematical foundation that still completely dictates how modern humanity universally divides a geometric circle into 360 degrees and an hour into exactly 60 minutes today. Roughly 40% of the original solid clay mass is completely missing, entirely destroyed by violent ancient fires. The surviving physical portions are heavily vitrified and permanently distorted into glass. Any modern attempt to translate or physically trace a continuous, unbroken, and hyper-precise flight path right across its badly fractured melted surface requires a massive leap of totally unscientific speculation. Claiming to perfectly reconstruct a degree-accurate trajectory from a heavily damaged, radically incomplete disk is simply mathematically impossible. The Sumerians were uncommonly brilliant, but they were faithfully charting the reliable, cyclical rhythms of agricultural life, not the fiery end of the world. This tablet remains a powerful testament to ingenuity. Their daily observations and meticulous records forever transformed the foundation of human civilization. Academic consensus versus fringe archaeology. You must stop and deeply consider how highly educated modern engineers and relentless internet sleuths continually manage to get this ancient artifact so catastrophically wrong. The entire root of this massive widespread phenomenon lies firmly within a highly dangerous intellectual habit known throughout the scientific community as misapplied literalism. Think about taking a profoundly symbolic, deeply theological, and beautifully poetic cuneiform text and aggressively attempting to read it exactly like a highly technical modern Apollo flight manual. Modern fringe theorists routinely extract complex ancient Mesopotamian mythological texts far removed from their deeply cultural contexts. They forcefully strip away all the crucial metaphoric nuance to brutally superimpose a rigid technological framework directly onto delicate ancient religious symbols. They systematically treat spiritual omens intended for ancient kings as literal kinetic equations intended for aerospace navigation. This fundamental sweeping misunderstanding is massively compounded by a stark, undeniable lack of actual domain expertise. When the British engineers initially published their highly controversial asteroid trajectory hypothesis, mainstream academics and reputable professional journals almost entirely ignored their dramatic claims. The reason was incredibly simple. These two enthusiastic authors possessed absolutely zero professional background in Mesopotamian languages, ancient Middle Eastern history, or complex cuneiform epigraphy. Because they entirely lacked this essential foundational knowledge, their actual linguistic translation errors were remarkably severe and scientifically embarrassing. They frequently and aggressively mistranslated perfectly standard Sumerian logograms and perfectly common Akkadian phrases simply to force those ancient words to fit their predetermined mathematical trajectory model. They literally broke the ancient language just to perfectly serve their own sensationalized dramatic narrative. Yet, despite experiencing universal crushing rejection from mainstream Assyriologists, geologists, and historical linguists, this fake artificial intelligence doomsday narrative stubbornly persists across the internet today. We have to seriously look at the dark psychological and algorithmic reasons this specific hoax absolutely refuses to die. Modern digital media platforms are mathematically designed to completely ignore rigorous historical and geological reality in favor of highly sensational, intensely alarming fiction. The massive social media algorithms that constantly control our daily feeds inherently prioritize massive user engagement above objective truth. They continuously thrive on generating exceedingly high watch times, endlessly fueling societal outrage and instilling pure, unadulterated fear into the general public. Ticking clock doomsday scenarios returning rogue planets and massive ancient astronaut conspiracies are the absolute perfect fuel for these ruthless digital engagement engines. These massive technological platforms actively push terrifying pseudo-historical legends to millions of captive screens every single hour, practically guaranteeing that a thoroughly debunked science fiction story will endlessly circulate in the global public imagination long after the global scientific community has completely dismantled the underlying terrestrial physics. They literally reward the loudest liars with maximum visibility and substantial advertising revenue. The true lasting tragedy of the Sumerian star map is definitely not a terrifying ancient asteroid strike wiping out a forgotten Austrian mountain range thousands of years ago. The real absolute tragedy is actively observing exactly how easily our massive interconnected digital platforms can completely bury genuine, hard-earned ancient human genius directly beneath an endless suffocating avalanche of cheap, artificially generated apocalyptic fiction.